Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back. You are tuned into the weekend edition of the Iftar Show. My name is Zahid Jadwat, and we've got a few minutes left until the end of today's edition of the show. And just a quick look at your Iftar times at in the major cities across the country. Durban, of course, in a few moments at 15 minutes to 6 p.m., Johannesburg at 6:05 p.m., and Cape Town a little later at 6:32 p.m. Nonetheless, let's move on now to our next conversation for this afternoon. And we're now joined by Amira Token, who is from one of the organizations, a youth led organization, I must say, uh, doing some amazing initiatives around here in terms of upliftment and empowerment. And I'm sure she's going to tell us all about that. She joins us now. Assalamu alaikum, Amira. Welcome to Salam Media.
Walaikum salam. Thank you.
All right, so I've read up about your organization, Amani Inked, and I think you guys describe yourself as a non-profit organization that is run by young Muslim adults and teenagers striving to aid in any way possible. Let's begin here. Tell us more about this organization and what it is that you guys do.
Sure. I registered the organization in 2019, and then COVID happened, so nothing happened. Um, and we basically tried to help in any way we can. A big driving force for us was to aid in Palestine, so more create awareness than today's funds. And ever since then, it's been just a momentum for us to keep going and keep helping where we can, who we can. Um, and so we help whatever appeals need help. We
Mm,
don't have a specific, target for us.
mm. And I do believe this is actually a registered organization, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about the team that's working with you. Who is Amani Inked? Who's behind this?
So I'm a co-founder. My cousin Rizina is the other co-founder, and it's run by everyone younger than me. A lot of teamwork goes into it. A lot of, um, you know, the work that's done behind the scenes is everyone who's younger than me. So I'm 25, and so you can imagine everyone younger than me doing the
Mm,
work, which is quite nice to see because we want the youth to be involved, obviously, and we are the youth. So we take in as many youth who are willing to volunteer as possible, as many as
mm.
who want to.
Yeah. Why do you think it's important, though, that youth get involved in such initiatives and, more importantly, are able to take the reins themselves and not work under someone else to actually take the initiative to, to fulfill this responsibility that we've all got to mankind?
So more than just from an Islamic perspective, it's about finding yourself. Seeing people who really need help opens your eyes to a lot more than you could in any other situation. Because when you see someone who really needs help and you know you have the power to help them, there's just something about it that makes you want to help people. And then it's
Mm,
exactly what you said, like taking the initiative. So when you learn to take initiative with certain tasks and charity work, then it helps you in your own life, if that makes
mm.
sense.
Yeah, of course. It totally does. Yeah, so tell us about some of the campaigns that you guys have embarked upon. I know you've done over 20 campaigns. You've raised over 300,000 Rand. And I think you said this was only started in what was it, 2021? So
Yeah.
quite, yeah, that's quite a lot. I mean, you guys have been quite busy.
Yeah, so we've done small campaigns like we raised funds for the teddy bear clinic and they wanted a decoder or a DSTV just for their home. We've done big campaigns like we have contributed and sent hampers to the KZN uprising. Um, but our main project currently is working with an orphanage. We've been working with them for almost 2 years now. Initially, our plan was to go there and do workshops with them and just empower them in ways school wouldn't. But as we spent more time with the kids, we saw that there was a bigger need than just empowering them in workshop ways.
Mm. Talk
They
to us about
needed.
these needs, right? This orphanage that you speak of, right? What are the needs at this orphanage, and how has your organization been involved in? in intervention here.
So a lot of what they need are basic things like food, um, a proper house, education, those kinds of things. So what we've done is we contribute monthly to their groceries, which can cost anywhere between 7,000 rand to 10,000 rand. So the orphanage is home to 23 kids at the moment and six caregivers. Um, and obviously it's like breakfast, lunch, and supper. So we and snacks in between because they are kids. So we buy those groceries. We also noticed that some of the kids weren't going to school because a lot of schools wouldn't accept them because they don't have papers. And some of the kids we picked up off the streets, like just with the clothes that they had on their back. And so we realized that something needed to be done about this. So we created a very informal teaching place. I don't want to call it a
Mm,
homeschool because it's not a homeschool.
okay.
But we employed two teachers who are more than willing to work with the nine kids who can't actually go to school. And we've been through the process of sitting down with schools, explaining the situation to them. But because they don't have papers, they just were like, no, we can't take these kids in. Um, we obviously can't afford to pay like the fees that everyone has been telling us we needed to pay. So we took matters into our own hands and created the schooling system. An age range of the nine kids, so they work with kids from 8 years old up until 14 years old, the two teachers.
Okay.
So we've done that. We've also done things for the orphanage, like the one boy who's turned 18. Obviously, he is now an adult. So we couldn't just put him back onto the streets without, standing on his own 2 feet. So what we did was we sent out a post looking for a job for him. And we set up interviews and I took him to the interviews and just to give him that the start of a support structure for himself where he can stand on his own 2 feet. So we've done things like that. We continue doing whatever we can for the kids. But it is our biggest project. Um, the need for counseling and more workshops and is still there, but because of the basic needs that they need that aren't being seen to, we have to take
Mm,
a step back from that and focus on that because
mm.
obviously a hungry child is not going to learn.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
going back to the basics, and I think that's a really important way to look at it. Um, I think give us an understanding of these children in this orphanage. Firstly, where is this orphanage based, and the background that these children come from.
So the orphanage is based in Homestead Park here in Johannesburg. And
Hmm.
a lot of kids come from either families who have abandoned them completely or families who can't look after them, or we've just found them on the street. Um, we had a boy 2 months ago who we literally found out, like we took him from the street, put him in the car, and took him to the orphanage. Um, so yeah, they come from all sorts of places, and it's quite sad to see that they don't know what to do and they don't know where to go. And because of this, we also see that their lack of just the basic hygiene that you would know and the basic things you would know as a child growing up, that's lacking a lot for them.
Mm. Talk to us about some of the challenges that you've faced on this journey, and then maybe also some of the lessons that you've learned.
So funding is a big thing, but then you learn who to approach and how to approach it, and people like to know the full story. So not just this is the orphanage, we need money. No, what do we need money for? Who's in the
Mm,
orphanage? How many kids are there? A lot of people phone me and ask like more in-depth questions about what exactly do I mean when I say we're buying food for the kids? Are we buying them like luxury stuff or are we buying them stuff they actually need?
mm,
Um, the other challenges that we have are because it's like a safety concern. We can't just let anyone into the orphanage. We can't just let people, walk in as they please. We don't know. We want to protect the kids. So then we struggle with volunteers also, just
mm,
because we want to be wary of who we are letting get access to these kids. So a lot of our exposure and how we want to be known is a challenge. We prefer talking to people like directly instead of someone said, this is the orphanage, just switch up here's the address.
Mm.
It is a concern that we have. Um, yeah.
Yeah, of course, and I think that's understandable, especially when you're dealing with children from in such circumstances. Yeah, it is definitely understandable. But I think if we just take a look at your Instagram page, for example, and we look at some of the initiatives that you've embarked on, and you did speak of some of those earlier on. But I think just looking at this page, we see you've embarked on a clothing drive. You're also looking for funds to support these orphans and their education and your initiatives regarding that. But I think let's talk about the shoebox campaign, which is one of the newer campaigns and one of the latest one. I think it's the one that's currently ongoing. And yeah, tell us how that works. What's the purpose? What's this all about?
So the shoebox campaign is for Eid. We want them to have new Eid clothes because when we do clothing drives, it's obviously not new clothing that the kids get. And I think this is the one time in the year that they can get new clothes. So what I did was I went to the orphanage and I have the sizes of all the kids, and they each gave me a wish list, and I created a little poster with the kid's name, how old they are, their sizes, and what's on their wish list. So one little boy wants a watch, a little girl wants a doll, another boy wants a ball, so things like that. And then the older kids, they want books and they want things that will help them at school and a school bag. And these are things that they don't get. So I thought, why not ask people to get these things for them? So everyone who contacts me for a shoebox. So I released the ad that's on the Instagram page. And
Mm,
then people message me saying they would like to sponsor a box. And then I send them a child's profile, as well as how it would work. So they are more than welcome to come and give it to the kid on a specific day. We also make sure that we give it to the kids all at the same time so that they can all just see that everyone got something, even if it's not the
mm,
same. Everyone got something. We also do it for the caregivers because they work really hard. It's really difficult to look after kids um, that one aren't yours and of all age ranges. So we do it for the caregivers also. It's just really nice for them to get something that's theirs. Like, this
mm,
is yours. It wasn't donated. It wasn't, put in a dustbin bag and everyone sorted through it and whatever fits you is what you took. It's, this is your size, your name is on it. They bought this for you. Please look after it. And
yeah.
we did the same thing last year, the same shoebox campaign, and it worked so nicely. The kids were all excited. They opened, like, everyone opened theirs in front of everyone, so that they could see, like, you can get new things, and it's just the one. It's like the nice thing for
Mm.
them.
Yeah, I think the smallest gestures usually tend to go the furthest distance when it comes to these kind of situations. Tell us about the reaction and the response that you've had so far with regards
With regards to,
to this campaign, the orphanage.
from people who want to sponsor, from the kids.
Just generally, I mean, yeah, perhaps you could touch on the kids, but I think particularly what I'm trying to find out about is the campaign itself.
So people are very excited about it, but I only have 23 kids. So within a day, um, majority of the boxes were taken, and I think people look forward to having a choice, and this is who your kitty is. So some of our kids have their profiles have pictures of them, so that the sponsors can actually see who they're buying things for. Um, it's been a good response, I would say. I mean, it was successful last year, which is what made me do it again this year.
Mm, okay, yeah, and I think we'll leave it at that. But I wish you all the best, and I hope it's just as successful, if not even more successful, as it was last year. But nonetheless, all the best to you and your team.
Jazakallah.
All right, we'll leave it at that. That was Amira Token, who is the co-founder of Amani Inc., one of those youth-led organizations that are making a difference and trying to make a positive change in the lives of people, at the most basic level. And of course, she was just speaking to us about her organization, a little overview of that, and also about their latest campaign, which is obviously in the build up to Eid, the Orphanage shoebox campaign. And I think all sorts of incredible initiatives coming out from this youth led organization, which you can definitely go and find out more about on the various social media platforms. And yeah, you can definitely go and check that out and find out more. Let's take a break. When we get back, it's time for some thicker and then, of course, iftar countdown. Please do stay tuned.